Welcome back. Major host, and this is Meet the Leaders. Here in Connecticut, towns depend on property taxes to finance their budgets. People may not like paying those taxes, but at least they want to know how much they have to pay. So every few years when properties must be revalued, politics tremble. Elected officials have been known to lose their jobs based on how they handle revals. So now that we've got him all warmed up to talk about his town's revaluation, welcome our just first Selectman, Zeoli. Welcome, Mr. Zeoli.
Good morning. How are you?
Oh, pretty good, thanks. And I do have to apologize to you because at the top of the show we referred to you as a Democrat.
Oh.
So you're a Republican.
Yes,
let's
I
get
am.
that straight for the record.
Yes, I am.
Now let's talk reval.
Yep.
You want to do, there's a 5-year phase-in of the last reval that you're looking at.
Yeah, the Board of Selectmen voted after lengthy discussion last week, a couple weeks ago, to go with a 5-year reval. By doing that, we experienced a large shift. Our commercial properties are already paying a large amount of tax on their assessments were quite substantial, whereas our residential values were not quite in that same range. And with the revaluation, our residential properties took an average of a 67% increase in assessed value, whereas your commercial properties did not do that. And if we had not done the phase-in, the commercial taxpayers would have seen a substantial drop in what they were paying, while the residential would have seen a sudden and substantial increase in what they were paying. This all being based on the grand list total, which sets the mill rate. By phasing it in over 5 years, you take the assessed value that you were already existing with, and then you take 1/5 of that and plug that into the number you were already paying taxes on, and so it softens the blow over 5 years on a increase side, and it also allows the commercial side, they will step down incrementally also, so that they're not getting a sudden reduction while the others are receiving the sudden increase. So it does soften that blow, and under much at our budget hearing the other night, we went round and round, and the mill rate was at 30.3 mills. And we've worked, the finance director and treasurer have done an outstanding job, and working with me and advising and finding areas that we can still work over a little bit. And as of this morning, it looks like we can be at about 29.9 mills, which is a savings to the residents. It will minimize that impact with the 5-year phase-in. And we were one of 3 communities that were in the lead to step out and go with the phase-in, as opposed to just a lump sum setting in of it, which, again, like I've already said, would impact the residential side greatly on the up, and offer quite a decrease to the commercial side. And people realize that we have all that commercial business in town, our Route 1 growth and all in the Marsh Hill Indian River area and all, which helps support the community, and that commercial base is a large taxpayer. And if you see where theirs is going down and they're going up, there would be a large glow from people of, why are we putting up with some of the traffic and inconvenience of this, and it's not carrying what? But it's still carrying a lot.
Let me ask you, just because just for background, I thought that the require that municipalities move from, used to be every 10 years you do a reval, to every 4 years.
That's correct.
How does a 5-year phase-in we've got to do it? Because
it will be done, because over the 5 years you're doing the reval on the 4th, but it doesn't take place till the 5th. Okay. So that you're 1 year, you're always tied.
All right.
You will always be tied to that. And there's a lot of discussion in communities to legislators to reconsider this every 4-year phase-in. Not every year is, not every time, I should say, is the actual knock on every door, check on every house. Only once in 3 periods, I believe, is that. In the meantime, you just do a statistical, basically in-office revaluation in the off cycles of that. But I know there's pressure on the legislatures, or so I've been told, to reconsider this process.
Let me ask you about the budget. Is that process complete yet?
As of this morning, when I left the town hall, we had reworked some of the numbers to reduce the proposed mill rate from 30.3. We're now under 30 at 29.9. the Board of Finance is going to have to call a special meeting within the next few days before the town meeting, so that that can be properly presented to the voters and all residents of the town. So it is essentially complete for us at this moment. Then it will go to the townspeople, and they'll decide if it's acceptable or not. We go to town meeting, which then adjourns to referendum.
What kind of increase does this represent, and what kind of reaction have you been getting so far?
It's actually a smaller increase. I had people coming into the office very upset, thinking that they were going to be being up by $1,000, $1,500, $1,900 a year. When on the average home in town, you're talking $300 to $600 increase. You know, yes, there are the more expensive homes which are going to obviously feel it a little bit larger number, and there's some that will feel a little bit lesser number, but the average will be in the $300 to $600 range, it looks like, which more leaning towards the lower side of that high.
And people seem to be okay with this, as far as you can tell for now.
At the budget hearing the other night, little input from residents. The largest group was a group of seniors who were concerned with a senior leadership program that the funding in the past hadn't been in the town budget. It was funded through the Greater New Haven Foundation and New Haven Chamber of Commerce, the Orange Foundation, groups like that, organizations like that. This year, it was put in the budget to fund this, and it's a group of seniors that do community projects, come up with improvements for the community, and a very small number. It was $6,000, and on a $53 million budget, we sat in the room for 2 hours, and $6,000 was the biggest item of concern.
Okay.
So that was pleasant. Yeah.
Last time you were here, we were talking about a potential open space purchase farm.
Yes, it is. Farm River Estates, LLC.
What happened?
It went to the voters after negotiation and approval by the Board of Selectmen. There was much controversy on both sides. There was a lot of paperwork out there, a lot of emails flying back and forth. And it went to the voters, and it did pass. And the town of Orange has agreed to purchase from Farm River Estates 43.77 acres, I think it is now, for $4.3 million. The acreage actually has gone up a little bit. The developer has offered another parcel with it. As part of that purchase price, we picked up another acre and a fraction there. And the people, and it did pass by not quite 200 people. More were in favor of it than opposed to it. It was the largest turnout we have ever had in the town of Orange for a referendum of any type. It was good. You know, yesterday we had a referendum for the Amity school budget. We had less than 700 people turn out in the town of Orange to vote on that budget and how it's going to also affect their taxes. Yet this one, over 2,000 people, you know, were out. You know, so that was really terrific. You got fair input from the community.
Now, if people want to get more input to you on anything, or if they want to just get in touch with you, we're going to put that contact info up on screen so they can reach you at Town Hall at 617 Orange Center Road, Orange, or 77 if there's people who want to send a letter. You can call the First Selectman at 203-87, or you can send an email to Zeoli at orange-ct.gov.
Correct.
Orange just got some good news recently from the state, and the committee responsible for transportation approved $86 million, I think it was, for a new train station in Orange. That's not a deal yet, clearly. But is this something you're reacting to positively?
That was new. I have, since I've been in office in these 18 months or so, that was one of the foremost projects, and that's tremendous news to us. We have an excellent site. The state has put a lot of money into rebuilding 95 in that area, the exit ramps, get-on ramps, connector to Route 1. And we have a private property owner who's willing to work in conjunction with the state to develop this train station there. It's a key location between New Haven and Bridgeport, truly. There's a lot of people in the Bethany, Orange, Woodbridge, even Milford and West Haven on the fringes of Orange that commute daily. into the city or beyond. And there's no room in Milford for more parking. They have a several hundred car waiting list, people wanting parking spaces. The New Haven train station, Union Station, they have no room at their train station for additional people to park. Our site will require just one property owner who is working on acquiring a small bit from the Bear site to join with his property. West Haven's site is a good site also. Mayor Picard and I have talked frequently on this, and we're not against each other at all on this, but they have 19 properties, I believe, to acquire to their site. So the state is recognizing, number one, that we have much less to deal with as far as property owners. They have a willing property owner that has the wherewithal to deal with this, and we're in full support of it.
We've got less than 30 seconds left. Economic development, is there anything on the horizon?
Orange is moving along very well. Bear has gone through their first round of accepting bids on their site. There's a lot of interest, some large companies looking at that Bear site. Several of them have met with myself and again Mayor Picard of West Haven, since it straddles both communities. I think that Bear is going to divest themselves of that site before.
So that's good news for Orange.
That's excellent.
Thank you, First Selectman James Zeoli. Thank you for joining us. Remember, if you have comments, questions, or suggestions, we would love to hear from you. Send us email at mtlct@cablevision.com. That is all the time we have for today's show. I'd like to thank our guests, First Elizabeth Weston and First Selectman Zeoli of Orange. And thanks whenever you'd like, since they're available on Cablevision's video on demand. Until next time, I'm your host, Andy Mais. Stay safe. We'll see you right here on Cablevision's Meet the Leaders.